مساء الخير. السلام عليكم. First of all, thank you, J Street, for hosting us as a civil society and shining a spotlight on those working every day on the ground to transform the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. A special thank you to the Women Leadership Forum for their ongoing support of inclusive feminist political activism. Yay! Thank you. My name is Huda Abuarqoub, and I'm the Regional Director of the Alliance for Middle East Peace. And to those who don't know ALMIP, it's a network of over 100 groups working every day in every sector of the society to break out the vicious cycle that separates us and rehumanize the lost generation of the past 20 years. Today, the Alliance for Middle East Peace has three flagship efforts. First, to advocate for and make visible the efforts of the civil society and remove the barriers to the funding of our efforts, to establish an international fund for Israeli-Palestinian peace, just remember that will provide not only millions of dollars to expand and scale the people-to-people work, but will create a formal structure for achieving peace on ground where politics has failed. Finally, and the mission that is closest to my heart as the Regional Director of the Alliance for Middle East Peace is to support all of our members until we rise as the undeniable voice and collective civil society movement for peace. As well as being the Regional Director of ALMIP, I stand here tonight as a proud, liberated, free Palestinian woman. Yes. And it's not coming from vacuum. I've seen the power of my father taking leaps of faith in humanity in a situation where his house was taken over by Israeli soldiers, engaging them in an attempt to create a human connection as an equal. I heard for years a story of my grandfather taking a road trip with his Jewish Palestinian neighbor and his Christian Palestinian colleague to Haifa, Beirut, Damascus, and Amman, then back to Hebron when I was not allowed to leave Hebron or Palestine freely. I was raised by a socialist mom who refused to teach in Saudi Arabia, and that's a big deal, while women are not free. Thank you. I also was raised by two strong grandmothers who challenged political and social realities to secure quality education for their daughters, firmly believing that this will contribute to the liberation of the people of Palestine. Thank you. I read books in dark nights by candlelight, I still do that, to educate myself about a world that is truly free and supports justice for all. I cried all night, hugging for the first time the Palestinian flag that I was not allowed to embrace as part of my identity. I watched a cousin with special needs leave his house to buy cigarettes, ending up with 18 bullets in his body, left bleeding for hours to his death in a town under 24-hour military curfew. I heard my cousins cry out when their father was arrested in the middle of the night. I myself have escaped life-threatening situations time and time again while trying to get to my school or to take my mom to the hospital. Yet, I found 28 reasons not to give up on peace. My 28 nieces and nephews that I am blessed to have, they are the reason why I get up every morning and find a reason to cross the checkpoint to seek partners for peace on the other side of the green line. I simply want to do my best. I simply want to take responsibility and do my best so they don't have to go through what I have gone through to survive and maintain my humanity, because that's what's on stake. Though many can't see past of the media's perverted image of the humans, the holy people who live in the Holy Land, I see hope daily in the midst of darkness. Why? I see thousands of Palestinians using self-restraint while crossing humiliating and dehumanizing checkpoints to get to work in Israel. Each one of them has a reason to be angry and hateful, yet do not give in. For those who seek a Gandhi in Palestine, I see hope in Israelis who break the law to come and stand for justice in South Hills of Hebron. Yes. I see it in Palestinians and Israelis with whom I work who seek an honest, open dialogue internally to sort out the emotional, mental, and political walls that prevent them from reaching their utmost potential as free, liberated human beings. I see Palestinian and Israeli bereaved mothers who transcend over pain to build a stronger front against war, hate, and violence. If Palestinians and Israelis who witness death and loss on a daily basis can melt down walls of oppressive systems and still manage to keep their human dignity, then the world has to step up its game to lift them rather than fail them once again. Yes, we live in a leaderless world. Not just in our region, by the way, but across the world. Should we give up on people? Should we? No. Of course not. We, the people, find ways to liberate ourselves from fear, hate, and anger. Free people know how to create a reason to live and let others to live. Free people know how to reconcile and coexist. How long must we wait for the right time to give the people of Palestine and Israel a chance to claim their liberty and humanity? I think the time is now. In the darkest moments ever, now is the time for feminist, inclusive political activism, championed by girls of Creativity for Peace and women of Women Wage Peace. Now the time is to tap into the human potential that lies within the graduates of dozens of peace-building programs left alone, creating a critical mass that live and act in support of freedom, dignity, justice, and peace. Now is the time to scale our efforts, to move beyond the belief that our work is just a nice afterthought. It's not. We're nice, by the way. We're very nice. But we are in the business of creating resilience, and that's not to be taken for granted. We have to create communities in which our heroes will not have medals of death, but champions of life. I am here to tell you to hold on to our hope, to hold on to your hope in us. Please do. because we don't have the luxury of losing hope. That's not something that we can afford in a conflict zone. Our path may be just a narrow bridge, but we shall not fear. We shall not fear. Our deep commitment to humanity and justice is confirmed daily by women and men who refuse to be victims and refuse to be enemies. We're not each other's victims. We're not each other's enemies. I invite you and implore you to join the children of Jerusalem who state loudly and clearly and proudly that peace begins with me as a child born in Jerusalem. Raise up our community, our voices, our stories, and become part of us and be partners to us. And finally, to the Jewish American community, it's time for you to follow the steps of Rabbi Abraham's Joshua Heschel and march for justice and peace with the today Martin Luther Kings. Thank you and salam.